Hello, hello. How is everybody this evening? Hi, my name is Frank Coe, your instructor. I'm so happy to meet all of you. Some of us have been corresponding through email, and I see it's nice to see the faces on the other side of these names that I've gotten a chance to chit chat back and forth. So nice of you to be able to join us this evening. I'm going to take a look at my lists and take roll. This is great. All right. Okay, so let's do, okay. So I've got a quick question for you by raise of hands. How many of you are familiar with an app that's very popular amongst young people and gamesters called Discord? Yes, some of you are. Cool, that's great. All right. What's if you're not, it's okay. We will be using Chabot College's uh, learning management system. That learning management system is called Canvas. And Canvas is the premier learning management system used by colleges and universities throughout the United States. Prior to Canvas, the big dog in the industry was called Blackboard. And what a learning management system is used for is it's used for keeping track of grades, keeping track of communications between students, between each other, between student and instructor. The assignments are posted into Canvas in a very structured fashion. You will see our outlined in weekly format, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then within each week, Canvas is broken down into different pages for different tasks for us to do. So let me go ahead and just take a quick peek and see we have. Okay, we have Tony Ha, we have Andrew Goodson, we have Greg Pella. This is great. We have Anna Lee. We have Chisomaga. There's Chisomaga. We have Jessica. Jess is here. Just Calvert. There we go. And we have Luis. And so Calvert, you're on two. You're on, I guess, phone as computer. Yes.
Yeah, I have a bigger screen on my desktop, but my laptop has a webcam, so.
There you go. Yeah, whatever method works, because as I suggested in my emails to you all, was depending upon what technologies you have at home, the most valuable thing that will help us out will be if you happen to have a webcam and the microphone on a laptop or tablet is the most effective way for us to communicate with each other. And if not that, we have some friends who have desktop computers without webcams, so they are supporting themselves along with a smartphone on the side. The trickiest thing is if you happen to have a desktop laptop and you have a smartphone and you have two microphones picking up your voice at the same time, then there's that feedback that you sometimes hear in large auditoriums. So you have to be mindful of that. Okay, we also see Abasa Zaidi. This is great. All right, and then T-Mac. T-Mac, help me out. Who's T-Mac?
That's me, Tuan.
Oh, Mr. Doe?
Yeah, T-Doe.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and that's great. And yeah, I'll be double checking roll in a little bit to see. And also we have Navarro. This is wonderful. Okay, okay. All right, good showing so far. And then as more people show up, we will move forward. Anyway, so welcome to electronics. It doesn't matter whether you've taken electronics before or not. I presume that all of you in middle school and in high school have taken some science classes, and in some of those science, maybe not even physics, but some science classes, and know something about electricity. Some of you know a lot about electricity. I've had some students who are licensed electricians who've come in. I have some people who are who already have their bachelor's degrees in some field, but they want to broaden the scope of their understanding in electronics. One of the most exciting things I find over at Chabot is this: we have a separate engineering program, and the engineering program is a little different than ours from this standpoint, that the engineering program includes mechanical, hydraulics, pneumatics, and there's only one semester that's devoted to electronics out of their entire 2-year associate degree program. Only one semester. And so very often I have engineering students at Chabot come and take a number of our electronics classes because we are so much more hands-on, the feet to the ground, and we do so much more in our full 2 years of nothing but electronics. So that's some of the most exciting challenges and it's a good challenge to have that many students come in that are looking for broadening their understanding in the field of electronics. Whether you are in the field or thinking about getting in the field, this course is a really great course for anchoring your understanding about electronics such that you can springboard from here to any of our more advanced topics into the fall if you find that this is something that is fit for you. Or if you happen to be in automotive, we have a lot of people from automotive and welding and machine tools at Chabot that are also taking our electronics courses, especially from our automotive division, because when you think about your cars, do your cars have electronics? Do they run on computers? Are there wires running back from the firewall through the firewall department? All over. Tawan?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you mute your microphone for?
I try to now.
It's okay. I can mute it. That's all right. Just for a moment, because what'll happen, this is what's interesting, is from time to time, because we have different internet speeds, is if your microphone is always on, if it's always on, my voice coming through the internet to your computer, playing back through your speakers, feeding back into your microphone, gives us that echoing effect, which is a little bit distracting for everybody. So if you have a question, this is how you're going to use Zoom. So first of all, is everybody in Zoom in such a way that you can see a 4x4 matrix of your classmates on the screen? If you do not, there is a like a 4 square button or 9 square button in the upper right-hand side of your Zoom screen. And if you click on that, you should be able to see more than just my face. You should be able to see your classmates in Zoom. So by raise of hands, how many of you can see the rest of your classmates? Good deal. All right, that's fantastic. Okay, that's what we'd like to see. All right, so some additional people had come on, so let me go ahead. Harpreet, yes. Harpreet came on, that's great. And then I will continue checking Huey. Already checked that in. Fantastic. All right, so welcome to ESYS 50. So we have a fun-packed 8 weeks in front of us. And I wanted to take a moment to do this welcome session to make sure our technologies were working properly, that we can communicate with each other effectively, and that the video and the microphones and things of those sort were in place so that when questions pop up, you can ask questions one of two ways. You can unmute yourself, and the way you unmute yourself, in the Zoom screen on the lower left-hand corner, you should see two icons. One icon that looks like a microphone and an icon that looks like a little video camera. If you click on the icon that has the microphone, You'll see a red slash through it if your side is muted. And if you click that, this red slash will go away, and then you will see a green bar bouncing up and down, showing that if you are speaking, the microphone is picking you up correctly. Right next to the mute button is this little video camera symbol, and that's your video. And so from time to time, if necessary, your partner or friend comes by and says, okay, you got to taste this. And then so rather than show the rest of your friends that, you know, you're eating something, you can do this. There. What I've done is I've stopped my video, meaning I've stopped the camera on my my laptop, and I can then step away or something. But when we're engaged with each other, we really want to have that video on so I can see all of your smiling faces. Next to that, what else is significant? Right in the middle of your screen, you'll also see chat. And when you click chat, it'll open up a little chat window. And in the chat window, that's where I may be typing in a message, perhaps a link. So when we set up Discord later, we will be setting up Discord, and I will be typing the link for Discord into that window. And all you have to do is copy that from the chat box and then create your Discord account. So getting back to our course and how we're going to conduct it. Let me go ahead at this point is share my screen with you about Canvas. So let me go to Canvas. And pull this up to here. And do this, and do this, and do this, and do a share screen, share, and let's do this one here, and hit share. Cool. Can you all see my Canvas screen now? Raise your hands if you can. Good, all right. So when you log into Canvas, our learning management system, the best place to start in the most organized way to use Canvas is home or modules, okay? If you're at home or modules, you will see all of the different, folders, if you will, in Canvas that take us week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, 6, 7 through 8. At the very, very top, there's a start here. There's a notation for textbooks. I'll talk about that. Syllabus information is here, which I've sent you many copies of already. And so let's take a peek on my screen on textbooks as an example. In textbooks, we have in ESYS some free textbooks, and then there are some that I highly, highly encourage students to acquire. So the free textbooks come to us from Chabot, and if I click on this, I can show you, these are the PDFs that you can download in our textbook page that will take you through pretty much the entire program, and these are completely free. If I take a look at lessons, I'm not going to open this up yet, but if you just take, if you can see this, let me change this so that you can see this a little bigger, 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 bigger. Is this better for you now? You're not squinting as much? Okay, so what you'll see here is Lessons in Electronic Circuits, Volume 1. It says DC. DC stands for direct current. There's 560 pages in there. No, we're not going to read all 560 pages during our 8 weeks together, but there's a lot of good reference material there that will carry you through our 8 weeks and beyond. Then there's Lessons in Electronics, Volume 2, AC. AC stands for alternating current. And there's some pages in that we will be using, but there's 570 pages there that we're not going to get into all of it for this semester. are 8 weeks. The other ones we're not going to touch on, volume 3, volume 4, we're not going to touch on. But when you look at all these pages, there's over 2,000 pages of free textbook information you don't have to pay a penny for. So it's there, and it's very well put together. Those are the free textbooks. So let me go back to here. Then highly recommended textbook. And under highly recommended would be Delmar's Textbook of Electricity. And you can find this nicely used, pre-owned, a 5th edition for a very reasonable price. This is hardbound, it's 5th edition. I've been using 5th and 6th editions, and I'm old-fashioned. I like having paper in the hand. I like dog-earing the pages. I like highlighting all of that stuff. And I find that this author's method of communicating information, Professor Stephen Herman, is very effective. He's very easy to read, very easy to understand. So I highly recommend it. Think about that. It is not required, but it is highly recommended. And so that's just one instance in eBay for less than $35 and a few dollars for shipping would be that. And then another link. Let's see if this one's still live or not. Here's another one, 3274. Oh, I hit the same link. I'm sorry. Let's try this one. Okay, 39. Yes, and then a few dollars for shipping. So somewhere under $40 for these guys. You'll find the best resource will be staying on track with our weekly meetings on Tuesday nights. Our scheduled meeting time is Tuesday nights, starting at 6 o'clock. We're scheduled from 6 until 10. And I'm on Zoom, and I will be working with you with my through the webcam, and then I also have a second camera that shows whatever's on my lab table, where we can show you how the experiments are put together, how to use your circuit board and things of that sort. So, do you have any questions regarding the textbooks, the free one and by Chabot, and the highly recommended one by Herman? Anybody have any questions at all?
Not a question, but a comment. I found Delmar's book on eBay for $4.
Ooh, which edition?
6th.
Oh, you've got the 6 for $4? Is that in PDF?
No, it's a physical one.
Wow, that's fantastic. Do they have more?
I can check.
Ooh, that's fantastic. Because what I had found last semester that worked out really well for a certain period of time, there was a fella out of England who had the PDF version of the 6th edition, and they were going for less than $10. And so, yeah, my students snapped that up. So I used the 6th edition for the last group simply because that was a very unusual, a very fortuitous situation that came about. So what did you find, Kirsten?
So I posted the link in the chat. It says there are 2 more available. And
buy it quick.
Yeah, and it's like, if it's, mine hasn't come yet, so if it's bad, it's like $5 and you can return it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, yes.
It's not like spending $30 and getting a terrible book.
No, well, let's thank you for that contribution. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, just made a notation.
Professor Coe, I had a question.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I purchased this book right here.
Oh, yeah, isn't that the 6th edition?
Yeah, 6th edition, correct? Yes.
Outstanding! Wow. Did
So
you
this one's
pay
okay.
an arm and a leg for it?
It wasn't too cheap, but it'll help, you know.
It's a great investment. Whatever you paid for it, let me just say, the difference between the 5th and 6th edition, the 6th edition is more updated, and yes, he has even more updated edition than the 6th edition. But here's the thing, for us, the 5th and the 6th edition, whichever one you get, the differences between them are fairly minor. And truth be told, when an author updates his or her textbooks in this industry, they update every 2, maybe 3 years. And most of those updates are based on responses by the instructors who use the textbook, students who've used the textbook, and provide feedback back to the instructor and say, well, on page such and such and chapter such and such, there was a little error that maybe you want to correct. And so a number of the updates, the updated editions contain revisions that fix errors. And then the authors who write the textbook say, well, there's a lot of questions that came in this area. Maybe we'll expand the question set in this area or reword. So you'll find the differences between the editions to be somewhere around 5 or 6% in terms of content. So whether you use the 5th or the 6th edition, I have both. You won't go wrong. It's a fantastic investment in your future. It provides you a solid foundation in your hands, something that's physically tangible. Like I say, I'm old-fashioned. I like real paper. I'll tell you something right now about this particular instructor. This particular instructor suffers from dyslexia. So from time to time, I might invert words. I might put them out of order. If I type really fast, I might have some mistakes there. So please forgive me when that happens. And so for that reason, for me, reading a lot of content on a computer screen, my eyes go wonky. However, if it's in print, if it's in front of me and I flip pages, I can put Post-its in here, and I use a rainbow of different colors of Post-its. A rainbow of color of different kinds of Post-its, and I just tag my pages accordingly, and it makes it very easy for me to find whatever it is that I want. Anyway, that's just me. Good. Thank you so much for that feedback. Does anybody else have any questions regarding our textbooks that are free and the highly recommended Delmar textbook? All right, sorry for the technical difficulties, but we will get this. I appreciate the feedback. Just stop me in the middle of my tracks if I continue. Let's see, that's strange. Last semester, it's working fine for my friend. Are you using a computer or a phone? Electronics, oh, thank you. Wow. Can everybody see the web link that your classmate Kirsten posted on the chat? Are there at this point in time any other questions regarding our textbooks recommended and or free? Okay. Zoom had asked the difference between Canvas and Zoom. We are on Zoom. Zoom is an online communications tool where you and I can see each other, you and I can speak with each other, you and classmates can communicate with each other through the group chat. And Zoom is cool from several standpoints, is that the session is recorded. When the session is done, the session's a link to the recorded session is sent to the instructors. I receive it, I edit it, I try to edit out, for example, a technical challenge moment, I will edit that out. And so that when you ultimately see a Zoom presentation available for your review, it will be on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is under Frank Coe, and specifically the contents that pertain to our electronics courses are under Kogai. K-O-G-U-Y, okay? And that's where you'll find some content already. So the Zoom conference information that we do on Tuesdays will be fully recorded, and then it may also be chopped up into parts. So I've had during the course of this, spring, I had a daytime course that spanned the 3+ hours. Over the span of 3+ hours of our lecture and interactions with each other, different topics came up. And so rather than one long 3-hour recording, I parceled it into the specific topics that were of interest. And so we would hit a topic of interest. I can let that on the background. All right, calculators. I bet you some of you have questions regarding calculator. And if you have questions regarding calculators, let me talk to you a moment regarding calculators. And, all right, I think I have a few calculators. It doesn't matter which calculator you use. You don't need these fancy Texas Instruments graphing calculators. If you happen to have one and you know how to use something of like this or beyond these guys, you're more than welcome to. We don't need instruments of these caliber, so I will go ahead and set those guys aside. Then we have the more basic scientific calculators. And the scientific calculator, what makes a calculator a scientific calculator is this. I'll turn each of these guys on. The recommended calculator that I had in our syllabus is this particular one right here. This one comes from a company called Helect, and it's a great calculator for under $9. What makes this particularly handy to use are several things. It's got an ENG key, the ENG key, and then it's got the EXP key. So for keying in some of our calculations, this is one of the easiest ones to use that is also very inexpensive. What has been previously on syllabi of previous quarters has been this sharp. This sharp is the one that is utilized by many of our departments in applied tech. This is the one that's sold in the can at the Chabot bookstore. And this particular guy at the Chabot bookstore comes in at about $14. It has an EXP key and it can be set in the engineering mode, even though it doesn't have a separate ENG key like this one does. It can be set up in the engineering mode. This particular one happens to be a Hewlett-Packard, and it can be set. This one has an ENG key, which is critical to use, and it also has the other keys that make it very, very easy to use. So from under $9 to $15 to $19, you shouldn't be spending anything more than this for your calculators. And some of you who do not have the recommended calculator or not sure whether you have the engineering key that's specified right here under as ENG, or specified here as ENG, then we'll work out with you individually on our lecture portions. When we do start to do some calculations, you'll say, hi, I've got a Texas Instrument something or other, or I've got a Casio something or other, and how do I do it on this? So once we find out on your particular machine how to find the engineering mode and how to find our EXP button, then you'll be sailing along just fine. Any questions regarding calculators at this point in time? Nope. Okay, all right. And we'll set calculators aside. Now, what else I had recommended for you, and most importantly, is our electronics parts kit. Our electronics parts kit is this particular guy here. This is Rex Qualis Fun Kit. It's designed for, they call it Electronics Fun Kit for Arduino. And Arduino is, we will not be playing with Arduino this semester. The Arduino is, okay, yeah. The Arduino is something that we will not be playing with this semester. However, what was really nice about this particular kit was it included so much stuff for the money. It is a kit that's designed to be used in support of Arduino experimentation. And it just loads and loads and loads of stuff that comes with this. First and foremost will be the breadboard. So if I open this particular guy up, it's really well organized. All of your really tiny, tiny resistors are set up in their own individual bags, and they are properly marked. So this is one kilo ohm, 5.1 kilo ohm, 100 ohms, 220 ohms. So the ohms are ratings of how much resistance these will exhibit when we hook them up to a circuit. We'll talk about resistance in a little bit. Those of you, and I commend at least 15 of you are already on Khan Academy, and no less than 7 of you have already completed all 12 tasks in Khan Academy. The Khan Academy tasks are fairly easy, we hope, and they don't take that much time to do, and they are not due. Somebody asked, are they due by Tuesday before we start? No, they're not due by then. They're due actually after. But I wanted to make sure as many people who could get onto Khan Academy and finish those tasks, they know what a resistor will do. A resistor resists current, as the name implies. What does resisting current do? Resisting current is like a smaller garden hose versus a big garden hose. A big garden hose has very little resistance and allows a lot of water to gush out. A small garden hose will have more resistance and will restrict the flow of water coming out. So that's what these do. These resistors will restrict the amount of electricity that flows in a circuit. So please keep those. If you are going to pull out a resistor, and we'll have specific discussions about this next week when we get into lab, be sure you only pull out one set from one bag at a time. Don't mix up the contents within the bags. They all look very similar, but I'll set a discussion on that next week, more detailed. And there's gobs of other stuff that's included, a bunch of LEDs, a bunch of capacitors that are included, a bunch of transistors and photo components, switches are included. Now, one of the most exciting things that we did not have in previous semesters was a power supply that goes onto your breadboard. This is your experimenter board. This is what we're going to be using to build our projects on. And the project boards come in different sizes. Last semester, we were using boards like this size. It's about half the size of this particular experimenter board, but they're all constructed similarly. And last semester, we were using battery packs, and the battery packs with these wires would connect and give us the juice that we needed to conduct our experiments. So we graduate from that to this. And what's really nice about this is a power supply that will give us a steady, solid 5.1 volts DC anywhere along this power rail and anywhere along this power rail. We can change the voltage from 5.1 to 3.3 by moving these jumpers from one position to another. So you've got an independent 5 volt rail here, separate of an independent 5 volt or 3 volt rail over here. How do you power this guy up? The way you power this guy up, and you don't need to do any type of powering right now, but the kit comes with a really nice USB to USB cable. And what you do with the USB to USB cable is you get your handy dandy cell phone charger. And all of you who have cell phones will probably have a charger of some sort, or tablet will have a charger of some sort. So we call this a wall wart, and the wall wart plugs into your power cable like so. And your USB, one end of the USB would go into here, and then the other end of the USB will plug into this power module and press the button, and the LED lights up, and now you've got power on the board. You can power it up this way, which most of you, as I say, should have a wall wart to be able to plug your USB into. You can also acquire and there's no need for you to acquire, you can acquire a plug-in here that will attach to a 9 volt battery.
The website was made to spend your time. But making it in the morning was very.
Okay, so there we are, back to here. And so turn the power off, disconnect this. So this particular guy has pins, and we generally mount this near the end of the breadboard, like right about here. And very carefully push the pins, guide the pins in place, don't force. If the pins are not lined properly, you'll end up breaking the pins. That's the last thing you want to do. And very gently press down, and it seals up very nicely right up against the board like so. And there you are. And the breadboards, as I said, come in different sizes. Some breadboards come mounted on a piece of metal with special binding posts for you to attach power into here and then wires from here onto your board. Some boards are also much larger, such as this, for building your experiments on. So these are called breadboards. And so what's really exciting for this semester is that this particular kit happens to have a double-sized breadboard compared to what we used last semester, and has a regulated power supply, which is really, really nice. So this guy will just pop into here in this part of our experimenter box. Then this guy happens to include a really nice set of jumper wires, and I'll instruct you on how to use the jumper wires. Be really careful with this, because if this guy is opened, if you have this open on your desk and it's laid open, if you go to hit it gently like so, everything pops out. Then you're going to have a gazillion wires all over the place. So I'll show you at the appropriate time how to make use of those. So these guys will come back in here. These guys will come back in here. In addition to that, you also receive a mass of other types of jumper wires. And these are really cool from the standpoint that you have steel pins that are already attached to the ends of the wires, and they stick onto the board like so, and stick onto the board like so. And that's how you can jump your components and connect your components together. So these are the handiest things. And you have a tremendous assortment of what we call male-to-male jumper pins to do your task. There happens to be a ribbon that's also attached. The ribbon happens to have males on one end, and it has females on the other end. And what you do with these, we're not going to be using this for this semester, but these are intended to attach onto the Arduino for other experiments. And so you won't be using this in the form of a ribbon. It happens to be easier to transport as a ribbon, but when we need this, we will just peel off one at a time. We will make the male connection where we need it. I will just show you one. I'm going to peel off one. We can make a male connection on the board where we need it, anywhere we need it. And in the female end, on your power supply also has pins. We can actually attach the female end right onto a pin, like so, and that will also affect power. Instead of to the power rails, we can also affect power anywhere else into the circuit that we want, simply by doing this. So that's yet one other way of connecting your components together. More details about this at the appropriate time. Try not to open these. If you do open them to explore, be very careful. The pieces are tiny, easily lost, so you don't want to misplace them in any way, shape, or form. Here's an example of a breadboard that has some components that are assembled on it, and I am using the pre-cut, pre-bent jumper wires that are included in this case right here, and I have circuits that are built, and they are connected with a jumper wire here, and then test pins over here. So this method gives you a much cleaner assembly rather than having many of these loops around your circuit board. So you can do whichever works best for you. I will show you both methods of how to make connections. But Tuesday night, we will be building our first circuits on these boards. So hopefully, if you haven't already ordered the kit, you should try to get your hands on one by, if you can, by Tuesday night. Any questions regarding the experimenter board and the kits? we'll go ahead and set this guy aside. Done. Now, multimeters. Recommended are multimeters for, oops, hello? Let's go back to this mode. So sorry. Here we are. Okay. Can we all see each other? All right. And where is our chat? Let's take a look. Put this over on the side. All right, multimeters. Let's talk about that for a moment. They come in different flavors. Different sizes. And your multimeters, DMM stands for digital multimeter. And we will be using these initially for making measurements of resistance. So as you go to build your first circuits together, we want to be able to verify the building of the circuits as being appropriate by making measurements on the meters. And so for those evenings that starting on Tuesday, when we build our first circuit, we'll be showing you step by step how to build the circuit, the principle behind the circuit, how it works, how to power the circuit, how to take the power off the circuit, how to use the digital multimeter to measure voltage, to measure current, to measure resistance. And if you already have an existing multimeter, fine. If you don't have an existing multimeter, a very reasonable one was recommended for you in our syllabus. Are there any questions regarding the multimeters? Best investment you can make in the field of electronics. It's like, how can you be a carpenter without a tool bag of at least a hammer and a screwdriver and a saw and a file? Well, our tool bag for electronics will include a digital multimeter as well as our scientific calculator. These are the necessary tools, and then our electronic circuits with our breadboards. So those will be the components of success for our electronics class. Any questions regarding the hardware that was on the syllabus for you to acquire? Separate of all that, and we won't be playing with this next category for a few weeks. So I mentioned in some earlier email correspondence that your soldering iron and components don't have to be acquired right away. If you happen to have an existing soldering iron, great, but we probably won't be playing with these devices until week 4 and beyond. So if you don't have this right away, this is something that you can defer the purchase of. But the nice thing about the soldering iron is this allows you to connect your component kits together. And so here's an example of a component kit, one different kind of project that of different ones that you'll be engaged in sometime in other semesters. The basic soldering exercises that we will be doing will be much simpler than this, but what a soldering iron is used for is to melt solder, which is a form of tin and lead. This is very, very pliable, and what it does is we will melt this very pliable material onto circuit boards in order to connect electronic components to each other. So that's the purpose behind a soldering iron, and they come in different flavors as well. If you happen to have a soldering gun, some of you may have in your trade a soldering gun, something that looks like a pistol. That's probably much higher power than you're ever going to need for our class. So the soldering pens of this design are usually most appropriate for electronics technology. Okay. Any questions regarding the soldering iron? Let's go. There we go. All right, we'll put this guy in. There we are. That's out of the way. Cool. All right. Anyway, let's get back to here. Yay. Let's go on to take a look at Khan Academy. Now, and actually, let me update the role since I hadn't taken it since when we started. So let me go ahead and see. We have Abbas, we have Andrew, we have Anna, Shisomaga, we have Carlos, we have Doug, we have Gregory, we have Jess, Harpreet, Xavi, is Javier.
Yeah, it's Javier.
Javier Flores.
Yeah.
Is that Mr. Javier Flores? Cool. Thank you. Okay. And Luis. We have Luis. We have Ryan. We have Toan. We have Tony. Got that marked. We have. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. Navarro. We also have, yeah, Carlos. Okay. So let me repeat the names off the sheet that I've marked so far. So Luis, Jessica, Doug, Harpreet, Toan, Javier, Kirsten, Andrew, Tony, Ryan, Anthony, Carlos, Chisomaga, Gregory, and Abbas. Anybody's name I did not call. Khan Academy. Khan Academy, and like I say, many of you are almost done. Some of you are completely done with the first week of Khan Academy assignments. And what Khan Academy is a free resource on the internet that provides tremendous training into various topics. Some of our friends were concerned. I have a concern. Yeah, math is not my strong point, but there's the math that we use for electronics is fairly basic math. We don't do a whole lot beyond some basic algebra and some very basic trig functions. So there's no statistics, there's no calculus, there's nothing high end like that at all in any portion of our studies together. Just enough so that you're to use the math to test the principles behind what it is that we do. So Khan Academy, anybody have any questions regarding Khan Academy? Because let me take a quick peek of the people who are here. Wow, very nice. So Andrew and Anna, you're all done with the first week. Harpreet, you're all done. Kirsten, you're all done. Mr. Huey, Toan, Tony, you're all done. Congratulations. Jess, you're just 2 steps away from the promised land. Very, very good. Very good. Luis, you're coming along really well. So this is great. Javier, yes, I see that you're registered. So the task, some tasks are articles for you to read. Some tasks are videos for you to watch. And there's maybe 5 tasks are actual calculations. And we start with some very basic middle school decimal stuff. Okay, what is the 10th? What is the 100th of some number? So it's really not meant in any way, shape, or form to be intimidating. And if anything, gives you some reassurance that, oh, okay, if this is the level of math that we need, then we can do pretty well to get us through the first 2-3 weeks. And that's really all the math that you need. Moving forward, you will not see You will not see this number of assignments in Khan Academy. What else was really nice about the articles that were set up for us to look at in Khan Academy? Electrical current is a great article. Actually, that was a video. Electrical current, and then current, the direction of current. What is the difference between electron current versus conventional current? Numbers that we use. What is engineering notation? This is something that is helpful for us to know, so that when we get into our discussion next Tuesday, you'll have a much better appreciation of what we discussed there. This thing called voltage and other basic electrical quantities, voltage, current, and resistance, all of that's really nicely introduced in Khan Academy. And again, if you can get through those before we begin, that gives you a really solid background upon which we can springboard off of to have a much better appreciation of the topics that we'll be discussing on Tuesday. Any questions for me regarding Khan Academy as a free resource for
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, the calculations and stuff in the Khan, it was okay to use a calculator on that, right? Or is that something you should be able to just...
Yes, by all means. Yeah, when we are back in school, and here's the thing that I want to share with you. This summer is the only course that is online, the ESYS 50 course. And what's really nice about having the 50 course during the summer is that upon the successful completion of this course, it opens up the entire catalog of ESYS courses for you. The ESYS courses you do not have to take in sequence. Just for your information, let me share this quick screen with you. It's our ESYS Fall 220 schedule. Can you see this on your screens fairly clearly? Good. All right. So it goes to show Monday night what's going to happen, Tuesday night what's going to happen, Wednesday, Thursday night what's going to happen. And Monday nights are my Monday morning, afternoon, and evening are my 250 courses. So what you're taking in these 8 weeks, they're going to be taking over the course of 16 weeks. On Tuesday night, we happen to have this 57A and 57B. What we do there is teach PLC, programmable logic controllers, and there is it's automated processes. Anything having to do with automation is and automated systems is taught in that particular course. A glimpse of the trainer that we use for that is shown to us Wednesday night. We have 2 classes running concurrently. We have the IT Essentials. IT Essentials is computer hardware, computer software. That's taken in the first 8 weeks, and then the second 8 weeks, that's offered on one part of the building in 1600. The other course that's taught on Wednesday night is the 56A and B. These are power systems, and power systems is where you're going to learn about solar power, hydrogen fuel. You're going to learn about building your own power supply that you can use. It's a great semester project. So that's being taught the other part of Wednesday night. On Thursday night, we happen to have these courses taught by Mr. Reyes. The first half of the semester, fabrication, where you're building and soldering lots of different projects together, and then wireless communication. So these two usually go hand in hand. The 51 and the 58 are a combination. First half of the semester, second half of the semester. Another combination that could take place on Thursday nights is the 52 and 54 combination. The 52 at the beginning of the semester, followed by the 54 at the tail end of the semester. So all of these are preparatory for even more interesting things that are scheduled for the spring. So we have a pretty full schedule of course offerings in the fall, and there's only one course that has a prerequisite, and you don't have to worry about that one. That's in the spring. That's an advanced electronics course. But upon the successful completion of 50, you can take any of these in the fall. Yes, please, go right ahead.
As far as the math that you were talking about that's going to be in the first course, will we expect to see math in all the subsequent courses, or
It's pretty, no, the math is anything that you need for the entire program, you're going to learn in this first, our first 8 weeks together.
Okay, let's pick it up. Let's pick it up.
Someone else has a question? Mr. Andrew, did I answer that question for you?
yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, have no fear. Yeah, like I say, I have an aversion to math also.
It's just been a long time for me, so that's why.
I have a question.
Yeah, for some of our friends, when we're all able to meet together, and here's the other thing about the fall, is actually what we're doing in these weeks in June, our division, Applied Tech, it includes electronics, includes welding, machine tools, and automotive. Our courses are back on campus for these weeks in June because of the shelter in place that we experienced for the latter half of the spring semester. Our division has been given special permission to get back onto campus with proper social distancing and PPE to get back to our hands-on work. And so in the fall, because this seems to be working out really well, we're planning on all of our courses to be back in the hybrid mode, which means our courses are on campus and our time together will be hands-on in the classroom for our labs, and our lecture content and other assignments are done online through Zoom, and as we're doing on Tuesday night. So that's what's really exciting also about the fall. So any other questions regarding future courses and what's in front of us?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you usually see students take all the classes at once, or do they kind of like space it out per semester?
You space things out. I've had the 50 course in particular, especially during the summer. There are some students who are with us who are already in their careers and are looking to advance themselves in their careers, or looking to advance their skill set so that they can make a lateral upward move in their career, or possibly even change careers. The other side is I also have some retirees who have already gone through life's events and want to come back and learn a whole nother skill set that they may not have been engaged in before. So the eldest student I've ever had in my 50 class was in his late 60s. The youngest student I've ever had in the 50 class are my high schoolers. I don't know if you know this, but there's a really wonderful program for our high schoolers where they can take our courses at Chabot at the college level and receive college credits while they are juniors and seniors in high school. And that's really exciting, because if they continue from here, and I've had a couple continue, is by the time they graduate from high school, they've already taken 2 or 3 of our electronics courses, which saves them so much time when they get into our regular curriculum at Chabot. So the age span that I've taught in our 50 courses, ESYS 50 courses, have spanned from age 15, 16, all the way up to 67. And I'll tell you, some of our friends haven't seen math in decades, so they were successful. So fear not. Okay. All right. Any other questions regarding our forthcoming courses?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
just for this course. So we only meet on Mondays from
Tuesday. Our lecture is scheduled Tuesday from 6 until 10. That's our official lecture time on Zoom.
Okay.
Now, because we are working with Zoom, all of our lectures are going to be recorded. And so if for some unforeseen reason you got nominated by the family that you have to take grandma to the airport, sorry, you got to take grandma to the airport. You got nominated. Nobody else is going to do it. Have a lecture that night. Sorry, you're going to miss it. Oh, well, you don't miss the content. You will be able to see a recording of it either in its entirety or chunked apart, as I've done previously for various specific topics to make the viewing sessions easier to view in shorter chunks depending upon what topics are discussed. If you happen to miss an evening, if you are perpetually not able to meet on that Tuesday evening, you can still be successful in this course simply by catching up by watching our Zoom recordings. Now, however, that's not ideal from this standpoint, is that you do miss the immediacy of the questions and answers that may come up. So although you will have a wonderful recording of who asked what and what the answer to that question was, if that sparks a kernel of interest in a different direction and you have a question you couldn't ask right away while the rest of the people were meeting at the same time to hear another person's response and say, oh, that was a great question. So that would be the one thing that would be lost if you could not be with us on a regular basis. But this is an online course, and so if you can't make it on that Tuesday evening, you can't make it on that Tuesday evening, no harm, no foul. You're graded on the success of you being able to complete the content of the assignments. And a lot of these assignments are hands-on. You're going to be building things. And then so some of you say, well, gee, Co, how am I supposed to be able to show the instructor how I built this particular circuit and what degree of success I was able to have? And I will explain that in greater detail on Tuesday. It's really easy. So the ideal is if you can be there for every Tuesday session, the interaction between you and your classmates is invaluable. If you can't make one or two, it's not going to be a big problem. If you can't make any of them because of some existing schedule conflict, again, that's not going to be a problem. You just lose the immediacy of the feedback from your classmates. Did that answer your question for you regarding our meeting time? Cool. Okay. All right. So officially, we will have, I will send out the Zoom link, and it will be for all 8 weeks. It will be the same Zoom link, so it won't be a different Zoom link. It'll be for each of the 8 weeks that we are together on those Tuesday evenings. So the one link will be able to get you back in the subsequent week if you happen to miss one. And let's go here. So we talked about Canvas. We talked about, oh, I want to talk about Discord. Discord is really, really cool. So Discord is used by a lot of people for, especially in the gaming world, for very, very quick chit-chatting, but on a very specific closed set of communications, meaning you have different groups. So we will form a group. I have formed a group. So let me show you the group that we have. Let's go here, up to here.
Professor Coe, can I just ask a question?
Please go ahead while I'm doing this. Yes. No, not interrupting at all.
So just to confirm what you were saying, so the fall semester, you guys are planning on doing it in class, like the old style then? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's called hybrid, where part of the class is on the internet online, and then the other part is hands-on in the lab. And so our hands-on in the lab are where we're engaged in different experiments and things of that sort. So yes, in the fall we are planning back to hybrid, not completely online, if that answers the question you were looking for.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. Let's see, 200. Okay, so let's go here. Cool, here we go. All right, let me go back to the share and just show you a little bit about that Tuesday night. And this is an automated process control system. It's controlled by industrial computers, the same type of computers that are used to control escalators, control the conveyor belts that move Amazon equipment, move packages through Amazon, the same type of equipment that's used to move luggage through the airports, the same type of computers that are used to control traffic lights, elevators in a building. They're all controlled by industrial computers called PLCs. And the Tuesday night course is specifically dedicated to this training system, of which we have 2. Each one of these training systems is 3 modules. The very first module is a fluid tank module. The second one is a containerization. And the third one is for palletizing and sorting. So a lot of robotics, a lot of pneumatics, a lot of sensors, a lot of mechanics, a lot of really, really good things. And yeah, after our 50 course in the summer, you can do this. And that's what's one of the really exciting, probably the crown jewel of our trainers is this one that's offered. It's only offered in the fall. And yeah, successfully completing this during summer will allow you to be able to take advantage of that. Our friends at Bart, when you finish taking this particular course, this will make your resume look so much more attractive to people who are hiring for Bart or hiring for Amazon or hiring for any type of food packaging, manufacturing, any type of movement of boxes is done through stuff that's here. On the other, on my channel, if we go to videos under Co, then I happen to have some things on here already. And Co-Guy, all right. So under Co-Guy, there is a discussion. There's various Co-Guy lectures I've put in here, and I keep adding to this. We talk about numbering systems. Let me find something. We demonstrate how a breadboard is used with a potentiometer, how we're making a live measurement with the digital multimeter, how we're making adjustments on that potentiometer. A potentiometer is a variable resistor, very much like a volume control on your amplifier or volume control on your car stereo. So by turning this knob, we're either raising the volume or lowering the volume. So in this particular case, by turning the knob, we're either raising the resistance or lowering the resistance. And so that was part of that particular lecture from previous. Everything that we will be doing from Tuesday night on will be added to the Co-Guy series on my channel and will be specific to our summer course. So a lecture that we will have on Tuesday night that, as I say, spans from 6 until 10 may be chopped up into 3 or 4 parts that are specific to different topics that we'll be talking about. Okay, so that's another resource that's available to you is our YouTube channel. Another resource that's available to you is right here under Canvas. And this is a great resource as well. So let's go back to here and go to here and share. A lot of things you can be peeking at between now and Tuesday. So if I go to Canvas and I open up our course, this happens to be in the textbook folder. There was one more resource right here. Close this guy. Okay, allaboutcircuits.com. This is at the top of our Canvas. Right below Start here, you open up the textbook and web links. And by opening this up, our free online textbooks are here. The optional, the highly recommended textbook is here. But right here is a link, All About Circuits. And All About Circuits is a free site loaded with all kinds of wonderful information. And you can type in a particular topic. You should create a user account, log in, type in a particular topic, and boom, it takes you to all kinds of articles and all kinds of explanation of different things having to do with electronics. So that's another free resource available to you called All About Circuits. And the link to that is in Canvas. Okay, so the last thing what we'll do this evening is Discord. So let me show you Discord. Let me move it. Okay, so Discord, and I will type the link in our chat. So let me go ahead and share this with you. Share here and here. Okay. Can you see a rather dark screen that says, welcome to Kogai's ESYS 50 summer server? Raise your hands if you can. Cool, okay. Now, part of another group that I belong to, Cyber Competitions, here's an example of a number of people that are online and all the different chat and links and things that they type in order to communicate with each other, just tons and tons of stuff. This happens to be on the teacher page. If I go to the high schoolers camp, then we have team captains and administrators, and then all kinds of other, here's other participants, and little, you can create your avatar for your own interest. So there is a group that we have created, and for inviting, this is how you will get onto Discord. I will copy this particular link and put it in our chat box. Copy and put it in our chat box. I can stop the share now. Okay, and put it into here and paste. Okay, copy that link, get on there now. When you create your username, oh, sorry, enter. When you create your oops, sorry, let me send this to everybody in the meeting. There you go. Okay, so that's good for today only. If you sign on tomorrow, then it's got to be a different one. So when you create your account in Discord, create your account as a first name with a single letter for your last name. Okay, that way at least I'll know, be able to recognize who you are. If you type in username honeybunny64, I have no idea who honeybunny64 is. But if you type in Adam P or Charles H or Harry X, at least I'll have some idea which classmate you are, and I can follow that you are responding in the Discord chat box with the assignments that we're looking for. Okay, okay. So that being said, create those and click on that, create your account. Again, first name and single letter for your first initial for your last name, and that will be great for your username. What will we use this for? We will be using this in place of our discussion boards. What's nice about Canvas is all encompassing. It happens to have a discussion board, but the challenge of some of the things with respect to Canvas is you have to have a computer. Yes, you can do it through your phone, but it's more awkward than your phone because the screen is so small. So ideally, you do this on a computer, and then you have to get into Canvas. And once you get into Canvas, then you have to go to a particular part. You have to go into our class. Then you have to go into a particular part in our class for discussions. What's nice about Discord is you can do this from your phone. You can get a Discord app on Android, you can get a Discord app in iPhone, and as long as you use this particular link, you're in our, look at this, well, hi, everybody, welcome. I saw a boss on there. Boy, you're fast, boss. This is great. And yeah, let's see, a bunch of people on there. That's fantastic. You're getting on there. So what we will be using this for, will be our first task. And let me go ahead and close this guy out. And we have, oh, this is great. I've got Anna, Chisomaga, Ethan, Harpreet, Jess, Kirsten, Luis, Ryan. Oh, you guys are just smoking. This is Andrew's on here. That's great. All right. So, oh, this is wonderful. And so what's really nice about this is it's as handy as your phone is far away from you. And how many of you are ever really, really far away from cell phones? Not very far, most of you. And so what we will be doing here will be our first, and you can get started on this. The rest of the friends who won't see us till Tuesday won't be able to start this till Tuesday, but you can get started on this. And our first assignment in Canvas for our task, let me find us here, and let's go to discussions, and let's go to first assignment. Okay, first assignment is introductions. What will you be doing? Number one, you introduce yourself to the class. Hi, I am, and I put down my alias is I'm a sample. Introduce yourself. What do you want to learn in this course? Have you taken online courses before? And the most fun one is, which interests or hobbies might you want to share with the class? You know, personal interests. You might find, in one semester, I happen to have like 4 avid skateboarders that avidly do the skateboarding at skate parks and jumps and all kinds of things like that. So you may find people that have common interests. So the very first task is to post those 4 things. Introduce yourself. What do you want to learn in this course? Have you taken an online course before? And what interests and or hobbies do you have that you'd like to share with the class? So after you post those 4 things, then, because we can use Discord, once you're registered, you're on there, you can constantly see and communicate with your classmates, is sometime tomorrow, maybe not this evening, but sometime tomorrow, but by sometime tomorrow, everybody will have hopefully introduced themselves, stated what their goal is in this course, have they done online before, but also very interesting what their hobbies and interests are, is you need to respond to at least one other person. And don't everybody respond to the same person, kind of spread the wealth around. Respond to one other person and say, hi, so-and-so, I am so-and-so, and I find your interest in this particular area fascinating, or blah, 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 blah. And as you respond to the other person, your reply will be to compare your ideas and how you're going to support each other in our academic journey together. And so that's how we will be using Discord. And I think that you'll find it very fun, very worthwhile, and also informative. And where it's most informative, where my students have used this type of tool before, is if you happen to get stuck on a particular homework question, you don't just throw on the Discord, say, hi, I'm Adam, or I am Charles, or I'm so-and-so. I have a question regarding number 5. Don't just simply ask, what is the answer for number 5? The better learning experience is, how do you solve number 5 to get the answer that you did? I used this approach and I got this answer, but it doesn't seem right. And then somebody else will come on and say, well, I use this approach. And so if you use Discord in that fashion, you will find it a tremendous tool that will help you so much in your adventure in electronics. And you build a network connection between you and your classmates for that you will carry with you throughout the fall and all of the years to come. And the bonds that you make in these classes together, because you share a common goal, you'll find these network connections you'll take with you in your careers. Oh, a friend of mine just got hired by Bart. Well, they're looking for a few more people. Well, who's the first people you're going to go to? Your classmates, because you went through thick and thin with them. You went through Co's first semester during summers. Like, oh yeah, we had such a great time. I remember Walter, or I remember Shirley, whoever it is, and that might be a good fit for him or her. So that's how we're going to be using Discord. So I'm really excited to see so many of you. Wow, I think I've got everybody on here. The only people who saw my link inviting.
Me, that's my son's computer I'm using right now. Sorry, Frank.
Oh no, that's what I say. You know, when we create our user.
Right now, when I click on the link, it automatically lock into my son's account.
Well, that's okay. I can fix that. So your name again, my friend?
Tony, huh?
Oh, Mr. Ha.
Yes.
Ha equals Ethan. It's okay. I can create a nickname so I know that Ethan is Tony Ha. No worries. But everybody else I can see just fine. So you don't have to do anything. As long as you use that computer, I will know who it is. And that just answered that question for me. Fantastic. Any other questions for me? I think this is a great welcome session. I hope that I've answered most of your questions regarding how we're going to conduct our time together, the tools that we're going to use, the textbooks that are available, and other resources that are available. We're going to have a lot of fun, especially when we get into building things on these breadboards and testing them with our measuring devices and such. So as I've said, if you haven't completed the Khan Academy stuff, please try to do so. Certainly, if you haven't gotten your lab stuff in, hopefully it will arrive by the time we begin, because we will be building circuits on the first night. And if you don't have it by the first night, it's not the end of the world. You just can't have as much fun as we are building the circuits. So any other questions I can answer for you? Please.
I was looking at some of the homework assignments, and you mentioned that we're going to need like Microsoft Word. I've never needed Microsoft Word for school before. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering how we should do our, am I expected to get that, or is there a different way to do that?
No, here, well, here you go. Microsoft Office is free to Chabot College students.
Okay.
And so where you find that, let me help you.
Sorry, I went to that website. It didn't work at all.
It did not work for you? The one through Chabot College?
Temporary out of service or something.
Oh, okay. Well, if it doesn't work for whatever reason, I'll send an inquiry into IT and also admissions regarding that. Let me make a notation here. So MS Office free, no worky. All right. So before Microsoft Office, or free, aside from Microsoft Office, is our Google Pages, Google Docs, Google whatever. Yeah. So what it is that you can do is you can submit your work using Google, and we will find ways of helping you along. So if you don't happen to have Microsoft Word, you can still submit your responses in other formats. What works best, the most universal format, is whatever you use, whether it's something in Linux or something through Google or something through some other resource. If you can convert it to PDF, PDF is universally, anybody can open PDF. And so for us professors, it would be great if you are working with something other than Microsoft components, then if you can at least convert to PDF, then boom, we can open it very quickly. And the key is, as soon as I can open it, I can see it. As soon as I can see it, I can grade it, and then boom, a score can happen. If there happens to be some need for teachers to have to go through cartwheels to try to look at the assignment as it's turned in, that slows down the process. And we really like to get feedback to the students as soon as possible. So if you don't have Microsoft Word, and it turns out that the site is not particularly friendly to us, then use whatever free resource, and Google is one of those free resources. Just simply convert your product into a PDF and then upload a PDF, and that would be fantastic.
Really quick. So Chabot has a partnership with Microsoft that allows all Chabot students to have free Microsoft 360. So
Yes.
I put the link in the chat, and there's directions I can also put in there.
Ooh, let's take a peek.
We like free stuff.
Yeah, no, we do. And somebody said that the site did not work or something. So yes, I can see it here. This is great. Yeah, free, enter your school address, go ahead and get started. Fantastic, Kirsten. So everybody take a look in our chat box. Kirsten uploaded the information pertaining to free Office 360. And you'll find if you use the industry standard, and the industry standard is Microsoft Office, you will be in a much better position to join the world for your career, as most employers are heavily embedded into Microsoft as opposed to the free products. In college and in high school and middle school, for our friends who use a lot of Chromebooks, the Google products for free and other resources that are available free are wonderful because they are for free. However, the business world, the industry that heavily communicates to each other communicates in Microsoft Office. So the sooner you can get connected using Microsoft Office, the better prepared you will be for sending out resumes and sending out your responses in Excel and other things that are the industry standards. So I highly, highly encourage you to pursue acquiring through this free link, Microsoft Office 360. And if for whatever reason it is not successful for you, whatever the case may be, yes, just simply use your free resource such as Google and convert your documentation into PDFs. And I just want to make it easy for you to be an arduous task at all, okay? So thank you, Kirsten, for providing that link for everybody. Any other questions I can answer for you before we begin on Tuesday? Covered a lot of stuff this evening.
Hi. I have a question about the assignments for week 1.
Yes.
So there's, sorry, I'm going to it. Under week 1 reading assignment and homework, there's 4 worksheets, and I'm not seeing a submission place for those.
I will be reworking all of week 1 right now because we happen to have a new lab kit, and we're working off of this particular lab kit. All of my labs and the photos that I've done will be completely different circuit builds. So all of that will be done before Tuesday, and then also and I'll look more closely for the submission, as you say, for the reading assignments, because some of those reading assignments will also have to be changed from this standpoint. We've been using resistors for previous labs that are 4-band color resistors, and we've been using resistors that were previously 4 color band resistors, and the color banding exercises that I have in our homework assignments are 4-band color band resistors. Turns out for our kit, we have much higher quality, 1% accuracy, as opposed to 5% accuracy here. These are 5-band resistor packs. And so the color coding sequence is similar, a little different, and I'll get into the color coding difference and how to read the color bands that we happen to have in our pack. So I'm going to be reworking a few things simply because we have a new lab kit, and also looking closely at those links as well. The Canvas, the shell that we have, is copied over from the previous semester, and so sometimes in the copying over from one shell to another shell, some of those links are not.
It's very I bought for her.
That's okay. We'll manage.
Okay, we happen to have a lot of noise here. Yeah, some of those links are. Okay, yeah, some of those links are incomplete. So if I have an assignment and then you don't happen to see a upload, then just simply drop me a line and then I will see it in Discord, because I will see all your immediate stuff right on Discord here. Say, oh, okay, that one didn't quite transfer over, or somehow as it was supposed to have transferred, it was incomplete. I can fix that pretty quickly. So if you notice things like that along the way, please don't hesitate to drop me a line and let me know. It'll help the class out quite a bit. Any other questions that any of you may have?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So I have some resistors from previous work, but they're not 5-banded resistors. Do I have to purchase the lab kit specifically for those resistors?
Well, that's a really good question. We happen to have lab kits from before, and we happen to have previous resistors from before. And so the question is, do I have to purchase the new lab kit with the 5-band resistors? The answer is no, as long as you happen to have the appropriate values of ohms for the resistors. So if you happen to have a nice sampling of resistors of many, many ohms, then if I ask for a 220 ohm resistor to go on this part of the board and a 330 ohm to go here, it doesn't matter to you or to I whether it's a 4-band or 3-band, 5-band resistor, as long as it is the appropriate amount of ohms. So you will see for our first week the labs reworked for the ohm set that I happen to have, that I've asked everybody to acquire in these kits, and you will probably have the ohms that you're going to need. I can read off very quickly what it is that you're going to need to have. You should have 100 ohm, a 10, 100, 220. So let me do this here. You should have, let's go here to everyone. So if you happen to have some already, so 10 ohm, 100 ohm, 220, 330, 1K, we hit enter there, and then we also happen to have 2 kilo, 2K is 2 kilo, and then a 5.1 kilo, 10 kilo, 100 kilo, and 1 meg. Okay, so those are the values that we happen to have in this kit. 10 ohms, 100 ohms, 220, 330, 1K, 2K, 5.1K, 10K, 100K, and 1 meg. And so since I've asked the bulk of the class to purchase this particular kit, we'll be using resistors of these values. So if you happen to have resistors of these values already, then it doesn't matter whether they're 4-band or 5-band resistors. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and then so yeah, do make note of the resistor values that I've put onto our chat box. Good question. I really appreciate the question. Any other questions I can answer for you?
Yeah, I have one question.
Please.
Okay. So when you were showing the breadboard with the USB cable as the power supply,
yes.
So if we go that route, then we don't need the battery packs, correct?
Oh yeah, to answer your question, no, you won't need the battery pack. This particular breadboard, and let me go to the appropriate camera. Put on. Okay, and let me bring this guy right down to the board. Focus on the board. And speaker view. Okay. This module is a marvelous little module. This is a DC power supply built from chips onto a board, and it goes onto your breadboard. And I will very carefully pop this onto the breadboard, carefully not to bend the pins. Now it's secure onto the breadboard. And so from here, I would connect the USB cable. And to connect the USB cable, my recommendation is to hold the USB connector, hold this in place, and then very gently wiggle this in, okay? Be careful not to pull this up like so, because you'll end up bending the pins as they connect to the board. So then the other end of the USB cable, you will connect onto any wall wart. And we recommend something that's in the 1 amp range. It doesn't have to be, tablet size. It doesn't have to be a 2 or 2500 milliamp. But if you read the specifications that are printed on the power supplies, it'll tell you what the amperage rating is. Anything that's like 500 milliamps on up should be more than enough to supply the juice for this. I happen to be using a 1000 milliamp, which is a 1 amp output wall wart that I've used for my cell phones and other things in the past. So this is plenty to be able to get electricity onto the power supply. And then because this cable is short, what I've ended up using is simply an extension cord. So here's my extension cord. And so I will take this guy, plug it into the extension cord. And the extension cord is 6 feet long, so it allows me to take that off the table. And now I just simply do my work right there on the board, which is real cool. And so to answer your question specifically, if we are using the USB cable for power, we don't need the battery pack connection over there. You can go either or. Why would you have both when this seems very convenient? The reason why you may want to have the battery pack connection goes to a 9-volt battery, and you might want to make this board portable. And what some of my students have done is they've taken the principle behind this board, acquired a smaller board like this, and they have pull this guy out, take this guy, put this guy onto here. Because it's smaller, put on the battery pack connection, put on the 9-volt battery, and boom, this goes on their bike. And all of a sudden, they've got flasher LEDs all over their bike as they're riding around town at night. It's one of the easiest things to do, and it's completely portable because you have a battery connection onto a 9-volt battery. So that way you're not tethered to having to use USB or 120-volt wall power. So there are advantages of having the battery pack connector for making these projects be completely mobile. Did that answer your question for you, my friend?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good questions. Really. And see, here's the thing. When you're here with us on Tuesday nights, you get to hear the questions and the answers and the immediacy of what's going on. If you happen to miss it, you still will get the content because it's recorded, but you miss the immediacy of the response. And if you had a follow-up question at that moment, you better write it down and then communicate that to us in Discord, and we'll try to get your question answered in Discord. Okay, good questions. Any other questions for me for right now?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yes, please.
Is this recording going to be on YouTube?
This recording will be on YouTube, yes.
Okay. And what was the name of your account? Because I tried searching up the name of your account, but there's so many channels by the same name.
My account is Frank Co, K-O. And when you get to Frank Co, then you'll be able to see and then type in Frank Co space K-O-G-U-Y. So let me type that in here. So for K-O. So here we are here, and then you have K-O-G-U-Y. And then, or actually I can copy from where we're at. If you happen to have it already, oh, there you go. Yeah, you got one. Yay. Now let's see if Zoom cooperates. That's the part about Zoom is sometimes when I try to connect with YouTube, it's not quite as speedy, but anyway, it'll happen. It'll happen faster for you than it happens for me on Zoom. It's getting there. Oh, come on, Zoom. Be nice to me. It's happening. I can see an icon. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then there's just tons of other stuff in here, but look for anything with an E or under COGAI. So E for ESYS or COGAI. And all that's good. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kirsten. Okay. Good job. Any other questions? Doug, were you trying to ask a question because you're muted? Doug, were you trying to ask a question because you're muted?
Am I muted now?
No, we can hear you now.
It keeps muting itself somehow, and I have to keep unclicking it. So I just took this webcam out of the box, and I'm a real novice. So I am. You can confirm that you can hear me, yes?
We can hear you. We can see your 5 o'clock shadow.
Okay.
Fill the screen.
All right. I had some of the same questions about how we view the recording. So it's exclusively YouTube, or is there some other feature on the Zoom itself where we can access that, or is it just through YouTube?
Really, the most accessible that I've found so far is the YouTube. Simply because you can access it from your smartphone while you're in the coffee shop, while you're standing in line at Costco, and you don't need a computer. The other methods by which instructors use to present their videos is through Canvas. Canvas happens to have a module called Studio, and that's where students can upload videos, instructors upload videos, but you need internet access with a computer, a laptop, tablet, something or other. Then you got to open up Canvas. Then you got to go into Studio. Then you can select something you want. Or if you walk around with your smartphone, YouTube's a lot faster and easier. Just like our chats, we can use the chat that's available to us through Canvas, or we can use Discord. And Discord, again, I just want to make it as easy as possible for students to access information. So there are other methods of being able to give you, but I want to make it as easy as possible.
And then what kind of turnaround time, if we happen to need to miss a lecture, how soon thereafter would we be able to find it uploaded onto YouTube for viewing?
It depends on how much I have to do editing, because I use a editing software. Zoom is actually pretty good. They are able to get me the recording for tonight sometime in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. But once I receive it, I port it into my video editing software, and then I edit out the technically voided areas, or I may parcel it into 2-3 separate modules. And so it may say, co-welcome session part 1, co-welcome session part 2, co-welcome session part 3, just to make the chunks easier to view for as a 40-minute piece on a particular topic, or half-hour piece on a certain topic, rather than a 4-hour-long thing that you have to watch all the way through. So that video editing will take me a good anywhere from a couple hours to half a day, depending upon how much editing, and then uploading on YouTube. I can get most things turned around in about 24, 36 hours.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'll try to do it faster if possible, but generally no longer than 24 to 36 hours.
That seems quite fast to me. So.
Oh, I try my best. I don't want it available like right before the next lecture. It's like I've been in that situation. I'm taking classes all this week. This week I'm a student. Next week I'm a student. So this week I'm a student in a professor's class out of Cabrillo College, and it's a cyber camps class for high schoolers. And I'm in that class as a student, learning how to teach these things for for at the high school level that I hope to bring into my computer class into the fall. And one of the challenging things is this instructor is also full-time teaching during the day. So our lectures are from 1 to 4 in the afternoon, as they were today. And one time, because it was really challenging, he wasn't able to parcel it over until right before lecture. So I couldn't review one that I had missed because I was lecturing at the same time until right before the next class session. So we try our best to turn things over as soon as possible. That's our goal. Right. Any other questions? These are really good questions. All right, my friends, I think we've had a great evening, very thorough. I look forward to the Zoom recording of this. Like I say, it should be in my hands for midnight, and I'll start the editing of it and then uploading things. And so as soon as they become available, I'll upload the links in Discord, so you'll see them right away on the Discord chat, and you can click on them right on your smartphone and be able to see different things or review different things of whatever you may have missed. Okay. All right.
Just to clarify, I know all the Cal State campuses are closed and doing distance learning for the fall, but just to clarify, the community colleges, including Chabot, will be hybrid?
Yes and no. Our division is a very special division that requires a lot of hands-on training. And so we have, as our division, very special permissions to have our division go onto campus and do our labs. So our division is electronics, automotive, welding, and machining. Now, people in English and humanities and taking the languages, they're completely online. They're not going to come onto the campus. So there is no hybrid for them. People in fire science, because they have to handle fire equipment, they will be hybrid. So I can speak to Chabot. I can't say that of the other community colleges, whether they will be hybrid. Certainly, the majority of Chabot will not be hybrid. The majority of Chabot will be online for the fall. There's very few divisions and very few disciplines within those divisions that will be allowed onto campus, and we're very fortunate to be one of those.
Will the lectures in the electronics be over Zoom, or will they, since we're there anyway, will the lecture portion be in conjunction with the lab on campus?
We'll do both. There will be short amount of lecture only as necessary, but the bulk of the lecture will be, the bulk of the theory content will be online.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Good questions. Any other questions? All right, my friends. Again, I thank you very much for your time and your attention. I hope that this has been worthwhile for you as a welcome session. Hope that it answered a lot of questions for you. Any other questions that pop up, send them to me either through email or through Discord, and we'll talk more about the mechanics of this when I introduce myself to the rest of the class who aren't able to participate in any of these so far to date. So with that, if you could all get your cameras back on for a moment so I can see your smiling faces, put us on the matrix screen, because I want to take a picture of you all. Your smiling faces. This is cool. Hey, this is a special moment. Woo-hoo. All right, so let's do it this way. And yeah, if you got your camera on there, yeah, let's get your smiling face on there. And so, yeah, I see Ryan and Anna. Do we have any webcam for you, dear? Oh, there you are. Fantastic. Yay, so lean in as much as you can so you can see your friendly, smiling faces. Chisomaga, lean in a little more because they only see the top of your head. And Jess, yeah, there you are. Okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3, and smile. Yay. Fantastic. All right, got you captured. Have a lovely evening. Peace, and we'll see you on Discord and YouTube. Take care. Bye-bye now.